Hello everyone, it is now 7 a.m. and our ship is docked in Nuuk Cruise Port in Greenland. Here is an overview of the cruise port from our cruise ship. You can see it is also an industrial port. Around 40 cruise ships, big and small, visit Greenland every year. This is our first port of call in Greenland, and we are really excited to be able to visit this very remote and unique city. Nuuk is the Greenlandic word for cape, and it is so named because of its geographical position. Nuuk is located only 150 miles south of the Arctic Circle, at the mouth of a group of fjords. Lies on a peninsula along the central west coast and is the key to an extensive system of fjords. There is a tourism office located right outside the entrance. You can find tour information, clothing, soft cuddly toy bears, handicraft, artwork, souvenir, etc. We are thinking of doing an iceberg boat tour, but since all the cruise ship boat tours had been sold out, we are checking out the Nuuk water taxi to see if they have any availability. There are a variety of activities to do in Nuuk, such as hiking, whale watching, kayaking, paddleboarding, and more. No luck getting one, they have all been booked by the cruise line for the day. Anyway, there is so much to explore, and we are taking the shuttle bus to the city center. We paid tickets for the shuttle bus to take us to town. It is about a 2 kilometers distance from where our ship is docked to the city center. The shuttle bus is optional for those who choose to walk. It takes between 30 to 45 minutes, and the walk is mostly an uphill slope towards the city center. There is no proper walkway for pedestrians, and they are sharing the largely unpaved roads with the car traffic. Lots of cargo and small buildings along the way. The city is known for its colorful houses, unspoiled mountain backdrop, waterfalls, icebergs, wildlife, and more. Like most places in Greenland, you can enjoy a magnificent vista of mountains and valleys. Although Greenland is the world's largest island, it remains relatively remote to most people. Only about 15% of Greenland is not frozen year-round. In Greenland, we see many colorful houses. Besides being eye-catching and pretty, the tradition of painting houses in different colors dates back to its 18th century colonial era. Back then, there were no street names or house numbers, and the color of each house has a specific practical purpose. In the old days, red color for churches, schools, and stores, yellow for hospitals, green for telecommunications buildings, blue for fishing factories, and black for police stations. As the bus drives further, we see more modern buildings and a lot of construction going on. I never expected to see the city developing at such a pace. Nuuk is Greenland's capital and largest city. The total population of Greenland is around 56,000 and Nuuk has a population of around 20,000 people. Greenland is an autonomous region of Denmark and the vast majority of the population of Greenland has a Danish citizenship. The official language of Greenland is Greenlandic, though English and Danish are also taught in school.
Shuttle Bus, bus stop til Sæt. Goodbye and see you. Den krydser ud. See you.
Our friendly driver is dropping us off at this building. This is the first monument we see as we start our walking tour of the city. Inussuk is a sculpture made up of 3 pillars referring to the 3 peoples of Greenland from the north, west, and east. The stones were collected from the shores of Greenland. An elevated view of the old harbor and its surroundings. Very pretty view of the shoreline. It is a bit cloudy, but weather temperature is still pretty comfortable. In the background is the Nuuk water taxi cruising by. It takes visitors to glacier fjord trips, iceberg tours, whale watching safari, and other excursions. Our first sight of the several icebergs floating near the shore area. Passing by these colorful Greenlandic kajak, or what we know as kayak. In the old days, the Greenlandic kajak had been an essential piece of hunting equipment for Inuits and a necessity to learn how to handle this craft from an early age. Today, it is still used for fishing but also used for recreation and for races as well. Resting near the shoreline is the well-known Mother of the Sea statue. Depending on what time of the day you are at the waterfront, the sea goddess Sedna is only revealed with low tide and disappears into the ocean when the water rushes in or during high tide. Mother of the Sea is also known as the goddess of the sea and marine animals in Inuit mythology. She lives on as the benevolent spirit of the sea. Sedna represented great power to Inuit living in coastal areas, as the sea animals she controlled were essential to their survival. We are walking further upslope towards a very popular viewpoint known as the Myggedalen Panoramic View. It is said to be a very popular spot for taking a panoramic view of Nuuk. Truly amazing views up here. Many beautiful small colorful houses along the coastline in Myggedalen. This lookout is definitely worth your time coming up here to enjoy the scenery. With a juxtaposition of colorful houses set into the rugged landscape, the vast ocean and the mountain peaks in the distance, the photo ops in Nuuk are endless. This viewpoint is not too far from the old harbor and the slope is relatively easy to walk. We spent some time here soaking in the natural beauty of Nuuk. Back to the old harbor, we see local kids having a happy time at the playground. We will be heading up the hill to visit another famous monument, the statue of Hans Egede. Glad that the weather has been pretty good so far and the ground is dry. The climb is not too difficult except for the several huge boulders upon reaching the top of the hill. The Hans Egede statue commemorates the Dano-Norwegian Lutheran missionary Hans Egede who founded Nuuk in 1728. Funded by Greenlanders, the statue lies on a hill near the shore above Nuuk Cathedral in the historical Old Nuuk area of the city. There is also another path from the church which leads you up here. A panoramic 360-degree scenic view of the old town. Atop the hill, overlooking the old colonial harbor and the original site of the city. The beautifully preserved colonial buildings lining Nuuk's waterfront. The Church of Our Saviour of the Lutheran Diocese of Greenland was built in 1849. The tower was added in 1884. This red building with a clock tower and steeple is a prominent site in Nuuk. The church received the status of Nuuk Cathedral in 1994. Its attractive red wooden exterior, neat white trim, and towering spire makes it a stopping point for visitors on a stroll through Nuuk city center. We are now back at the old harbor. There is a colonial harbor tourist pontoon where visitors can take a stroll along the wooden bridge. Someone is trying to touch the iceberg flowing towards the pontoon. This looks like an exhibit of an old boat. The paint is peeling off, but the structure still looks quite solid. We are now in the surroundings of the museum area. If you are not going inside the museum, there are still several interesting outdoor exhibits which you can view. There is a very long and elevated wooden walkway and stairs heading south along the coast from the old harbor. This beautiful boardwalk gives visitors great views of the ocean. On the left side are some houses overlooking the ocean. Upon reaching the top, we pass by a lot of apartment blocks. Some are still in construction. Nuuk is definitely developing into a bigger city. This is the fresh meat market where you can find Greenlandic staples like fish, reindeer meat, whale meat, etc. Greenland's economy depends on exports of fish, which supplies about half of the government revenues. Standing in front of the Nuuk Center, the tallest building in all of Greenland, is the beautiful Kassassuk Statue. It tells the story of an orphan boy who later acquired great strength. Here is a monument commemorating the 2016 Arctic Winter Games. Passing by the Cultural Center. Nuuk Center is just past the Cultural Center. It is the largest and tallest building in Greenland and is the first shopping mall in Greenland. It was inaugurated on July 27, 2012. The 9-story tower is also home to Greenland's government. It is also home to the country's first escalators and underground parking. A very modern mall with a variety of shops and dining venues. All of the different ministries are located here, with the highest floor being, of course, dedicated to the Premier's office. We are checking out the Pisiffik supermarket in Nuuk. Upon entering, there is the bakery section. Let's take a look at some of the food prices. A normal loaf of bread costs 28 kroner, which is about $4. A loaf of bread with seeds cost 35 kroner, which is about $5. Lots of fresh vegetables, produce, the meat section, and different types of fruits available. Dried goods, canned products, bottled sauces, and many more. A bottle of juice costs 24 kroner, which is about $3.50. A bottle of pasta sauce costs 38 kroner, which is about $5.50. The reason why food is generally expensive in Greenland is because almost everything needs to be imported from Europe. There are not many places where Greenland can grow fruits or vegetables. Meat and pre-made food section that has plenty of food, cheese, sandwiches, and salads. Spanish food corner over here. A very well-stocked frozen food section. Besides Greenlandic food, it also carry a variety of international food. The wine and beer section. Besides food, there is also a variety of daily household goods and skincare products. Overall, a pretty well-stocked supermarket for individual needs. Before we head back to the cruise port, we are checking out the tourism office in the city center. It offers the same services as the tourist office we visited at the cruise port. Time to head back to the bus and back to the cruise port. It has been a wonderful trip. Sail away.